please give a thumbs up. Okay, I guess it started. I guess ma'am has also joined, no, Pooja?
Yeah, ma'am has also joined.
Good afternoon, ma'am. So I'll unmute ma'am as well. Ma'am, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah.
So you'll be sharing the PPT, right? Or should we help you in?
I'll be sharing the screen.
Okay, can you just try once?
Yeah, I'll do that. It is showing as disabled.
Now?
Post
Now
disabled.
again?
Yeah.
Now again.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we are able to see the browser. Yes, ma'am, we are able to see it, ma'am. So we'll
Yeah.
go for a slideshow once we start with the event. As of now, we
Oh.
can
Yeah.
stop the screen sharing. Requesting all those who have joined, if in case you are not able to rename yourself, kindly try it right now. We expect to see your names than your phone names. So it is very simple. Go to the participants list. The first name which you see is yours. Instead, if you are seeing the name of your phone, you can rename it to your name. We'll be starting in another minute. Let me check audio of Apurva. Apurva, your audio, please.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Yes. Thank you. And please stay unmuted.
Okay.
Swati also requesting you to stay unmuted. Swati Rajkumar, you're there?
She is muted.
Yeah, I'm trying to unmute her.
Hello.
Swati, stay unmuted. Okay, till the song is over. So, warm welcome to you all. Good evening. We have a galaxy of participants here from Rotarians to Rotractors and district members, and our guest has also come. So, welcome to you all once again. Before we could proceed with the welcoming, I would like to request Ms. Swati Rajkumar to invoke the blessings of the Almighty through an invocation song. Let us seek the blessings and proceed with the event. Swati, over to you.
Okay. Gam Ganapate Namo Namo Shankari Tanaya Namo Namo Gam Ganapate Namo Namo Shankari Tanaya Namo Namo Gam Ganapate Namo Namo अंकुशधर मंगलकर पंकज चरणा अंकुशधर मंगलकर पंकज चरणा अंकुशधर मंगलकर पंकज चारणा भरण सा सानि पग पनि ग परि गनि पगरि ग सरि रि सा गरि सरि पगरि ग नि पग प सरि ग पनि सरि गारि नि पग प सानि सरि नि प सानि पनि नि प गरि स प गरि ग नि प ग प सानि पनि गारि नि रि गम गणपते नमो शङ्करि तनया नमो नमो गं गणपते नमो थैंक
Thank you, Swati. It was a very melodious song, and we are seeking the blessings of the Almighty again before we could start it. So, once again, thank you for that. Now, I request the project chair of our projects 3, which is mainly related to women, IPP Rotractor Apurva NH, to deliver the welcome address.
Yeah, thank you, Srinidhi. Firstly, I would like to tell few words about Projects 3. So this is a project where we take sessions or awareness related to any concerns of women, might be health or might be hygiene or the lifestyle, anything related to that. So thank you, Srinidhi, for giving me this opportunity to welcome you all for this wonderful session of breast cancer awareness. I welcome our guest, Dr. Ashutosh Gaur. If I'm not wrong about the name, I welcome you, ma'am. I welcome Rotractor Srinidhi. Was I wrong, Srinidhi?
No, it is Dr. Chaitali Ashutosh Gaur, ma'am. Welcome to you, ma'am.
I welcome Rotractor President. I welcome Lavanya, Secretary. I welcome Rotarian Kalyani, ma'am, from RCB. I welcome Rotarian Sudhakar Subramaniam, sir. Welcome, sir. And I welcome all the rest of the audience over here. I welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Apurva. Welcome to you too. And I'd also like to welcome a good friend of ours from Hyderabad who has got her entire team here. Welcome to Rotractor Vanilla, Secretary of KG Reddy College of Engineering and Technology, Rotract Club there. Welcome to you and to all the members of RCBS and whoever is present here. So I would request our chairperson of Polio, Rubella, Measles and Malaria Program Committee, Dr. Pooja, to introduce our guest today. Over to Pooja.
Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to give an introduction about Ms. Dr. Chaitali Ashutosh, and she is my own professor. She finished her MBBS from Grant Medical College in Mumbai and MD from Topiwala Medical College, and she has also previously worked as preventive oncology based at Tata Memorial Hospital, and is an associate professor at Vaidehi Medical College in Bangalore right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Pooja. Before we could proceed, I would also like to welcome our co-ZRR Rotractor Chandramuthu who has come here. So welcome to you, Chandru. And I will unmute ma'am, and we are waiting forward to listen to you, ma'am. So I can see two names of yours, ma'am. Which one shall we proceed with?
Thanks a lot, first of all, for giving me this opportunity on behalf of the Rotract Club of Sheshadripuram, and especially my student Pooja, who has given me this opportunity to talk about breast cancer awareness. So today's session, am I audible to everyone? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Okay, thanks. So I'll start the session. So as I have been introduced, I'm Dr. Chaitali Gore. At present, I'm working at Vaidehi Medical College, Whitefield. So today's session will be talking about awareness on breast cancer. The contents of the session are as follows. So first there will be introduction followed by cancer burden in India, then the burden of breast cancer in India, followed structure of the mammary gland or breast. Then we'll see the signs and symptoms of breast cancer, risk factors, prevention, screening, diagnosis, and treatment. So we start with what are the commonest cancers which we see in women in India. So one of them is breast cancer. Then of course there is cervical cancer or the cancer of the uterus. Then the oral cavity cancer, but the commonest one is breast cancer. I think that is the reason this topic has been taken up today for creating awareness. So we'll see what is cancer. Cancer is basically abnormal growth of cells. So in the left side picture, we can see how the cells are normally arranged in a proper fashion. And as compared to the right side, where we see that the cells are improperly arranged and they are aggregated together to form a sort of tumor. So this is a cancerous growth. We'll see what is the burden of cancer in India. So if we compare the number of cases of cancer in 1990 versus 2016, we see there is almost doubling of the numbers from 5,48,000 in 1990 to 10,69,000 in 2016. Then if we look at the number of patients per 1 lakh population, it was 63.4 per 1 lakh in 1990 to 81.2 per 1 lakh in 2016. Then the number of deaths also, if we see, they have more than doubled from 1990 to 2016. We come to the state-wise distribution of cancer in India, and we see that the highest number of cases we have seen in the state of Kerala and Mizoram, followed by Haryana, Delhi, Karnataka, and so on the other states. And if we look at the combined, the highest number was seen in Mizoram, Kerala, Haryana, and then the remaining states. Now we come to the burden of breast cancer in India. So as I have mentioned, it is one of the leading cancers among the women of India. And the estimated number of cases, what we saw in 2016 was 1,18,000 and 90 of cancer even occurs in males. But majority of it is in females, rarely it occurs in the males. And the prevalent cases, that is the old as well as the new together cases, were around 5,26,000 as of 2016. I'm sorry, I don't have the current data, but this is what the recent thing I could get from. The breast cancer was the first or second leading cause of cancer deaths among females in India in 2016. And the reasons which were found to be common, like what was the reason why breast cancer was more or the number of cases are increasing in India is because late age at first childbirth. As we all know that the age of marriage has gone further ahead. Like earlier, girls would get married by the age of 25. But now we see that that norm has gone to the age of 30 or beyond. Girls get married only at the age of 30 or after that. And then the first pregnancy is further postponed to mid 30s or late 30s. So when the first pregnancy occurs in late 30s, that is a very high risk factor for breast cancer. Then the next factor what was observed was low parity. So this parity is having number of children. So the less number of children you have, that is either you don't have children or you have only one child, then there is a risk of breast cancer. Then the next factor which was observed was increase in overweight and obesity. That is, we have observed that not only females, but even in the males, we have seen the number of people with overweight and obesity is increasing. So that is one of the major risk factor for breast cancer. Here I have put up the structure of mammary gland. So we see that there is a pectoralis muscle which is not labeled here, on which the mammary gland lies. So these are the lobules. Then these are the lactiferous ducts, areola, and the nipple. Subcutaneous fat in between. So this picture particularly I want to show because the mammary gland, lymphatic flow of mammary gland is towards the lymph nodes which are situated in the axillary area or in the armpit. So why this is important? Because many a times when the patients come to us, they don't find an abnormality in that breast tissue, but they complain that there is a lump, or there is a nodule, or there is a growth in the axilla. So they don't expect that there is anything abnormal with that breast, but it is related to the breast because the lymphatic flow of the mammary gland is towards the lymph nodes which are situated in the axilla or the armpit. We come to what are the risk factors, that is how we can predict who has the chances of developing breast cancer. So the first risk factor is family history. That is, if your mother or your sister or your mother's mother or your mother's sister, that is on the maternal side, if there is a history of breast cancer, then such a female has high risk. The next factor is early age at menarche. That is, menarche is when a girl starts having menstruation, first menstruation, that is menarche. So typically the age of menarche is between 10 to 17 years. But if a female has menarche much earlier than that, that is before the age of 10 years, then she will be exposed to the hormones for a longer duration. So that is a risk factor. Similarly, when there is late menopause, menopause is when the periods stop. So typically the age of menopause is between 45 to 50 years for women. But if there is menopause which is beyond 50 years, then again there is high exposure to the hormones. So again that is a risk factor. Then as I have mentioned, first pregnancy after 30 years, or specifically I would mention in the late 30s, if the first pregnancy occurs so late in the late 30s, then there is a risk. Then some women, they don't have children, they have high risk. Then even when they have children, they don't breastfeed the child. That is another factor for risk. Then the dietary factors, that is consumption of high fatty diet, or in today's world we can say a lot of junk food where nutrition is less and the calories are more, which leads to overweight and obesity, which itself is a factor for which is a risk factor again for breast cancer. Then hormonal treatment. For some reason, some women has to take hormonal treatment, or if they are consuming oral contraceptive pills for a longer duration, specifically before 25 years of age, before their first pregnancy, if they are consuming oral contraceptive pills for a longer duration, then that is a risk. Then past history of breast cancer. So here what we have observed is breast cancer, usually if you look at the age, there are two peaks. So the first peak is between 35 to 50 years of age, and the second peak is after 65 years of age. So if any woman has suffered from breast cancer before 40 years of age, again she has chances of recurrence. So if anyone is suffering from breast cancer, they should go for regular follow-ups, and they should keep on screening their other breast to check if they are developing any recurrence or a lesion in the other breast also. So these are the risk factors we should keep in mind. And what is the importance? I will tell why we should know these risk factors. So we come to the signs and symptoms of breast cancer. So either there can be a lump or a swelling or a thickening in the breast or in the axillary area or the armpit. There can be a discoloration or dimpling or puckering or scaling of the skin over the breast. There can be a discharge from the nipple, or the nipple can appear to be retracted, or it can appear to be pulled inside. So any of these symptoms, signs if we see, then we should immediately consult our physician. So here I have shown some abnormalities which can occur in the breast. So the first thing here is fibroadenoma, which is a benign kind of tumor. There are two types of tumor. One is benign, one is malignant. Benign is the one which is not harmful, but the malignant is the one which is going to spread and cause cancer. So fibroadenoma, when you hear this term, this is a benign thing, benign growth. Then another term is cyst, where there is a cavity which is filled with fluid. Again, this is benign. Then there can be abscess, where there is a cavity which is filled with pus due to infection. Again, this can be benign. Then there is a fibrocystic disease, which some breasts have this tendency of developing fibrocystic disease, but this is also a benign thing. Then lastly, this is the tumor which is spreading irregularly, and it is pulling the skin inside. So here you can see there is a dimpling of skin, and this is also known as pudgy orange appearance of the skin in case of breast cancer. So how do we prevent this breast cancer? So we have various levels of prevention. First level of prevention is primordial prevention, where we want to the risk factors to not develop in the population. So here we have to target small girls, or I would rather say the girls who go to school where they have not yet developed the risk factors, so that we can educate them to have healthy lifestyles. So what do we mean by this healthy lifestyle? First thing is about diet. They should have nutritious diet, which is not junk food and which is not very high in calories and low in all the nutrition, that is proteins and all. And second thing we must promote is physical activity. So if we take care of these two things, healthy lifestyle, then we reduce the chances of these girls developing risk factor for breast cancer. So that is the first level. And the second level is primary prevention, where what I am doing right now, that is health education, giving health education so that people who have the risk factors, they can modify the risk behavior. And then the chances of getting this cancer will reduce. And again, same thing, how do they modify? By simple changes in the lifestyle. That is mainly the diet and the exercise or the physical activity part of it. Next level of prevention is the secondary prevention, where we do early detection and prompt treatment. Early detection we can do by screening. Screening is achieved by self-breast examination. So I'll be explaining in detail what is this self-breast examination. We also have certain programs in our healthcare centers, where a woman who is more than 30 years of age, she walks into the center without any complaint. We still screen such women for oral, cervical, and breast cancers. So we come to the screening part of it, which is very, very important. If we achieve this, then we can prevent breast cancer. So the first type of screening is self-breast examination or breast self-examination. This has to be done by every woman once a month, and it has to be done even if you don't have any symptoms, signs, nothing, but you should do it every month to check that you are not developing any signs and symptoms of breast cancer. So how we have to do it, that I'll be explaining in the future slides. The next step is, if there is an abnormality found by a female while doing breast self-examination, she should go to a physician and the clinician will do the breast examination. If there is some abnormality found in that, then the next step is mammography. So here is a picture that a woman is performing breast self-examination. It should be done between 7th to 10th day of menstrual cycle. That is very, very important. And why it is important? Because if it is done apart from the 7th to 10th day on any other day, because of the hormonal influences, you might feel that there is some abnormality, there is some nodule, or there is some thickening which might be normal because of the hormonal influence. So between 7th to 10th day, every month, breast self-examination should be done. It has to be done in the standing position and reclining position. Best time when you can do is just after having bath. In the bathroom itself, just have a look in front of the mirror if there is any change in the size or contour, or if there is any visible change in the breast, if there is any discharge from the nipple, and then follow the steps. First go from above to below, then from below to above, and again come from above to below. This is one step. Then the second step is from the periphery to the center in different directions towards the nipple. And the third step is going roundabout in circles. This has to be done with the fingertips, with the help of your fingertips every month. So this is shown in the standing position. It has to be done in the reclining position also, lying down. Same steps have to be followed both in the standing as well as in the lying down position. Then the next step is mammography. This is nothing but X-ray of the breast. Mammography is recommended for women who are more than 40 years of age. We don't recommend mammography before 40 years because it is not sensitive before that. If there is any abnormality before 40 years, then we usually suggest sonomammography in such cases. So this mammography should be done every 3 years if there is no abnormality detected after 40 years of age. And after 50 years, it has to be done every year. So in case there is any abnormality detected in the self-breast examination, clinical breast examination, and mammography, Then the next step, what is done is called as FNAC, or fine needle aspiration cytology, where in a syringe and a needle is used, and the needle is introduced into the tumor or the growth, and the tissue is taken out, and then it is examined. Or sometimes they even directly go for breast biopsy from the nodule. So these are the various types of screening and the investigations that are done for breast cancer. Now move on to the treatment of breast cancer. So that depends on the what stage of tumor it is. So either surgery is done, or chemotherapy is done, or radiation therapy is done. These are the different modalities of treatment which are practiced for breast cancer. So I come to the summary, that is, breast cancer cases are increasing in India, especially among urban women, and women should perform self-breast examination regularly every month. On detecting any abnormality in the breast, consult your physician immediately. Healthy lifestyle and exercise go a long way in preventing breast cancer in women. Thank you. If there are any questions, then we can take the questions.
Yes, ma'am. I will enable the participants to uh, unmute yourself so that you can ask the questions, or if you want to raise hand and ask, even that is advisable. If you have a question, you can raise hand and we can take those questions. Ranjana, do you have any question?
No, sir, it was a mistake.
Okay. Or you can leave a message in the chat box. Kindly do not shy away from asking questions, because we have a very good resource person here and we would like to get all the doubts cleared. The session is for you. Okay. Deepa ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. Good evening, Srinidhi. Good evening, doctor. First of all,
Good evening.
thank you for this wonderful session. I just have a doubt. I thought you can clarify. Whereas, as you explained, sometimes, I mean, though not frequently, sometimes I can feel some sort of pain. Like if I have to explain about the pain in the breasts, like uh, after you, when you're breastfeeding your baby, sometimes if you fail to feed your baby regularly,
Hmm.
you'll feel some sort of
Hmm.
pain in your breasts, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
similarly,
yeah.
the similar kind of pain I have sometimes. Though when I tested for any glands or any formulations, there's nothing. It's all quite normal and everything is quite smooth. But what can be the cause for this pain?
What is your age?
I'm 40.
40. So what is the time period during which related to your menstruation, if you can tell me? Is it just before your menstruation starts?
No, ma'am. No, it's irrelevant.
Just observe it next time, because what happens is usually just before the menses start, there is something called
Okay.
as premenstrual syndrome, during which
Okay.
you can feel some heaviness in the breast, there is tenderness or pain in the breast. That is common.
Yeah.
That is very common.
Okay.
You said you have got
All
yourself investigated. So what tests have you done?
No, as you said, I followed this BSc through some websites only. Like after surfing through the internet, I just happened to do it. Even last month
Okay.
also, when I felt that
Okay.
pain, I happened to test it myself. Either in
Okay.
standing and
So you
as well as
didn't find
reclining.
any.
No.
Okay. So you haven't found any abnormality. So I
No,
think
ma'am.
there should not be any concern in this case.
All right. Okay. So you recommend not to consult any physician as of now?
Not to consult if you have a severe pain which is unbearable, which is not just before your menses, as I have mentioned. If it is not premenstrual syndrome, then
Okay.
if apart from that you are getting specific pain, then maybe you should consult a physician and get yourself
Okay.
a mammography, because you're 40 plus now.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
mammography you
Okay.
can get it done.
Okay.
If
Thank you, doctor.
it persists.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, Deepa ma'am. There is a request, if you can once again explain the self examination, because They are.
Yeah,
It's a
I'll. Should I
request
show
from
the
the
slides
nursing
again?
student. Yeah, ma'am. It is on itself.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can.
I'll do that. Okay, I'll do that. So these are the steps. So first from above to below, then from below to above, again from up to down. 3 ways it has to be done. Then the next step is from the peripheries to the center, that is towards the nipple and the areola. And the third step is in circular movements. You have to move the fingertips, both in the standing as well as in the reclining position. And this has to be done between 7th to 10th day of your menstrual cycle.
Okay. I hope if you have got the answer cleared, kindly let us know if it is clear. Now, moving on, we have a question from our president-elect, Dr. Manaswini. Manaswini, Manaswini, can you ask the question? Probably the network is not getting connected, but her question she has left me once again in the chat box. So, question is, why do girls have a loose or falling kind of breast? Is it common, or should it be taken seriously, or is it a concern?
No. I couldn't hear properly. Can you repeat it again?
Why is the structure of the breast kind of a falling or loosened type in few girls? Is it common, or should it be taken any concern?
No, that happens with age. So breast tissue, as there is loss of fat, it is going to appear that as if it is falling down or it has become loose. So that is a normal thing. Unless you find some nodule or some thickening, which specifically you can feel by your fingertips, then it is abnormal. But this is a normal thing.
Thank you, ma'am. And Rama Devi ma'am has asked, does stress factors contribute to breast cancer?
Okay. I'll just, should I put up the slide, the risk factors?
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Did she ask about the risk factors?
Does stress
Was the
contribute?
question related to risk factors?
Stress,
Oh,
does it
stress, you
stress?
are mentioning
Yeah.
about stress. Okay. Yes, of course. Stress is one of the important risk factor for any kind of cancer, because stress is going to cause lot of effects in our body, which is going to cause imbalance in the hormones, and this is a cancer which is related to hormones. So yes, stress is going to play a role.
Okay, I would be unmuting another questions. We have Rotarian Mala Murthy ma'am from Rotary Vidyaranapura. Ma'am, over to you.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Doctor. I should say that it was a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. It was a very simple and easy to understand. My question is, I saw one of your slides. More cases of cancer is found in, I think, Kerala and one more place in your slide. Why is it so, madam? Is there
Mizoram.
any environmental factors contributing to this?
See, I got this information from one of the Lancet journals, and they have collected the information from various sources like the ICMR sites and the cancer registries, which we have in various cities. So when they have compiled the data, they have got this information that these are the states where the cancer is more, any kind of cancer. So I don't know exactly what is the reason and which type of cancer, that also I'm not sure. But these are the states where they have observed more number of cancer cases. So based on that Lancet journal, I have got this information.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. There is another question. Are there any side effects with respect to the treatment? If we are undergoing any treatment, would we have any side effects?
There will be side effects. See, surgery, there should not be any side effects of surgery. But when you talk about chemotherapy, definitely there are side effects of chemotherapy. Even with radiation therapy, there are side effects. But if it is required, then that treatment has to be taken.
Is there any particular diet which could be taken up, or any the food changes which could help in prevention of this, or at least
Yeah, that is what I mentioned about lifestyle changes, in which I mentioned that less amount of saturated fats to be consumed and more of unsaturated fats if we take, then that is better. Then less number of calories, or the calories which are required for our body. What is happening nowadays is we have sedentary lifestyle. That is, we are taking the same calories or the same amount of food, but the expenditure of these calories, it's less. If we have to go for a small distance, also rarely we walk. We take two-wheeler, we take four-wheeler, and then we go to those places. So our physical activity has reduced, and calorie consumption has remained same, or it has increased, I would say. And the amount of food and the kind of food what we eat, lot of youngsters nowadays we see, and even the other people, we like to eat a lot of junk food. So that is taking a toll on our health, I would say. So more of nutritious food and looking at our calories. Secondly, maintaining our weight. So we should know what is our BMI, that is body mass index, we call it as. So that BMI is our weight divided by height in meter square. When we do this calculation, weight upon height in meter square, we get a number that is our BMI. So this BMI for Asians or Asia Pacific classification, what we have, if the BMI is more than 25, then we fall under the category of obese. And obesity as such is a risk factor for any kind of cancer, moreover for this breast cancer.
And we have few more questions here in the chat box which I would like to read out. Pratyusha ma'am, if you want to talk, I would be unmuting you.
Yes, Srinidhi.
Yes, yes ma'am.
Thank you, Srinidhi, for welcoming me for this session. Thank you so much, and good evening, doctor. For the age of 24 years girls,